Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you all for joining us here today for a data exchange machine monitoring webinar titled The Direct Protocol Difference for Machine Monitoring. This morning's webinar is going to cover the ability that Scytec DataXchange has to directly access machine protocols and how that benefits manufacturers like yourselves to be able to retrieve a very rich set of data that goes way beyond is my machine running or not running. Moving forward, I'd like to discuss the order of events for this morning's webinar, and some of these things are going to be kind of entry level for some of you, but we do have some people that are on trials here this morning, as well as some of those that are kind of just interested in smart factory technology. So I do apologize for some of the kind of, entry level stuff that we're going to be discussing first off, but I do want to gloss over it here quickly. And that includes, how does DataXchange collect information from your machines? What is a machine protocol? And then we will move into what protocols and machines are supported by DataXchange. How does this direct protocol access makes DataXchange a standout compared to other machine monitoring platforms? How else are these direct protocols utilized by both DataXchange as well as our integration partners? And then finally, for those of you that are current DataXchange clients, we will be discussing the update that should be out here in a couple of weeks. That's going to be going over a lot of user interface improvements with the DataXchange machine monitoring platform. So first off, I would like to discuss what is a protocol for a CNC machine. And apologies again, I know this is going to be kind of entry level for some of you, but I want you to think of a CNC controller as the brain of your CNC machine. And then I want you to think of a protocol as a proprietary language that a CNC machine uses to communicate. Now, Scytec DataXchange reads what comes off your CNC controllers and uses that data to make manufacturing charts and dashboards, allowing you to improve your shop floor processes by exposing bottlenecks like machine downtime. So, how does DataXchange collect information off your machines? Now, DataXchange is installed on a central computer out on your shop floor, and then over Ethernet, DataXchange can connect to your machines and collect data. This information is stored in one of our 3 different deployment types, including the commercial cloud offering, which is the most common, followed by our GovCloud offering, which is very similar to the commercial cloud, but it abides by some of the more stringent regulations from ITAR, FedRAMP, CMMC 2.0, things of that nature. And then finally, we have our on-premise solution where you build out your own SQL server in your production environment, store the data that way, so everything is kept on-premise, air-gapped, whatever you want to call it, so that no information leaves your facility. Now, in case you didn't know, you're only allowed one deployment, meaning you can't have a cloud deployment as well as an on-premise solution. You can, however, start with one and then switch over to another. So if you're on an on-premise solution first, and then you can move over to a cloud deployment. But if you look at this image down here, this kind of goes over what I just talked about, meaning that you have a central computer with DataXchange installed on it out on your shop floor, and that connects to your shop floor equipment via Ethernet, pulls information off of them, and that information is then stored in one of the 3 different deployment offerings I just mentioned. And that stored information is what then produces what you are looking at here. And this is one of our real-time views that we call the equipment view. And this shows the real-time machine statuses and other data points that you may be looking for. So if you look over at the far left-hand side, we have a horizontal mill that has been in unknown downtime for 33 minutes, as well as the accompanying program numbers, the work orders, the utilization percentage, part numbers, part per hours percentage that is, currently being completed. And we would like you guys to have this view like on a TV out on your shop floor or in a break room, so that your operators can see what's going on. If they're at they're working inside of a cell, but they're at one machine, they can see what is going on with the others. And then you can have supervisors and managers log into DataXchange and see what is going on production-wise with your shop floor environment. And all of this information that you see populating this view that you see here is done by accessing your machine's protocols. and the ability to then retrieve the information that they provide. So some common protocols that you may or may not be aware of that are supported by DataXchange, and I'm going to be going into more of these as well. And I can't stress this enough. So if you see something that is not on here, that's a certain machine brand that I go over, that doesn't mean that we can't connect to it and pull information off of it. More than likely, one way or another, we can connect to just about everything that is out on your guys' shop floor. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. But kind of just going down the list here, we have the FANUC Focus protocol, the Akuma Think protocol, and the standardized open source protocols, which include MT Connect and OPC UA. Now, if you have things like cobots out on your shop floor, the Modbus TCP is what DataXchange utilizes to access information off of that. And everything that I just went over here is definitely supported by DataXchange, as well as some more that I'm going to get into in just a second. And if we can't utilize any of those protocols that I just mentioned, we have other ways of collecting information off of machines, including what you're looking at here, which we also have an individual webinar based on, which is our SRC status relay controller, which is a PLC device that ships to you ready to go, pre-programmed. And you can basically go into the back of your electrical cabinet on a machine, hook up one of these onto a DIN rail, and then wire into a sensor, including things like a proximity sensor, current amperage sensors, fill level, thermocouples, vibration, as well as humidity. And these are just a small smattering of sensors that DataXchange can pull information off of. But those are the most common ways that DataXchange can pull information off of your guys' machines. Use that information, then make a chart or dashboard that can help alleviate those shop floor woes that you guys have. Next, I'm going to go over the supported machines and protocols for DataXchange that I kind of haven't gone over already. So I mentioned earlier that we have access to open source standardized protocols like MT Connect and OPC UA, and these grant end users the ability to access information off your machines. And then the direct source protocols are more in line with, major machine brands, including things like FANUC and Akuma. And FANUC has the Focus protocol. Akuma has the Think. Siemens, Heidenhain, Haas, NGC, and soon to be Mazak are all supported by DataXchange currently. And directly accessing these protocols give end users the ability to retrieve a much richer set of data, allowing them to have access to more useful information than, as I said, is my machine running or not running. And as I said, I can't reiterate this enough, but if you don't see anything listed on here that your machine uses or a machine brand that you might have, feel free to reach out to us. And as I said, one way or another, we can connect to your machine and pull some information off of it. So if you go to our website at Scytec.com/supported technology, at the bottom of that page, you will see a bunch of machine brands where if you go and click on one, you will be greeted with another page showing you all of the different data items that we are able to pull for that different machines. And that includes things like the alarm information, and that includes like the alarm code and a description of that, as well as macro variables, the current cycle status, things like spindle speed, spindle overrides, spindle loads percentage, rapid overrides, the main program number. So if you're interested in, what more we can kind of pull from, more rudimentary machine monitoring platforms, please go over to our website and click on the machine brand that you guys have out on your shop floor and kind of just see the litany of information that we are able to pull from it. As well as our website, we have a list of our supported machines, and this is just, once again, a small offering of the amount of different machine brands we are able to pull information off of. And once again, if you don't see your machine on here, please reach out to us, and one way or another, the professionals at Scytec will be able to help you pull some information off of your machine so that everything kind of falls under the umbrella of what you're able to monitor machine-wise with smart factory technology. So going through a list of here, I'm just going to go over some supported controller types that are very common that access these protocols that I described earlier directly. And that includes the FANUC 0, 30, 31i series, the Haas NGC Next Generation Control series, Akuma, OSP 300 and 500. And some of the more newer direct protocols that we added to the DataXchange machine monitoring platform include the Siemens protocol, which was added in January of 2024. The update that's coming out here in the next couple of weeks also has the ability to read Siemens variables. The control types that are supported underneath the Siemens shingle include the 840D solution line, as well as the Cinemeric Operate and Cinemeric 1. Last June, we introduced the Heidenhain Direct Protocol for DataXchange access, and that includes the controller types, the ITNC 530, the TNC 640, and the TNC 7. So in the upcoming release, coming out here in just a few weeks, we are going to have now direct access to the Mazak protocol, which covers their entire smooth lineup, including the EZ, the G, the AI, and the X. So if you guys have a bunch of Mazaks out on your shop floor, in a couple weeks, we are going to be able to pull a whole host of information off of them that's guaranteed to, increase your machine utilization and limit the machine downtime by exposing these hidden bottlenecks that you may not even be aware of that exist out on your shop floor. Next up, I'm going to go over why is the ability to read direct protocols important for machine monitoring. So as I've said before, going beyond is my machine running or not running is definitely a tenet of this direct protocol access. And the direct protocol access allows the DataXchange to access a very rich set of data at high speeds, and rudimentary machine monitoring systems, as well as broader production machine monitoring systems, will not give you the level of detail that you might be looking for that DataXchange provides. The ability to read protocols is key in the retrieval of information for the collection of rules that you set within DataXchange. And for those of you that are unaware, these rules are what we internally call expressions, and they are an endlessly configurable feature inside of Scytec DataXchange that make DataXchange a standout machine monitoring platform. So I want you to think of these rules like a threshold that you define. For instance, like you have a machine that's out on your shop floor that it's sitting at 29 minutes of unknown downtime. Once it crosses that 30-minute mark that you have demanded, your operator can get a Microsoft Teams text or email notification notifying them to get out to that machine and fix whatever is wrong with it. And then you can also kind of establish some escalation rules, like, after an hour, a supervisor gets notified. And then after 2 hours, a manager gets notified of, whatever you deem necessary. And these rules are done internally via Scytec Professional. So you tell us what you would like to, see happen, and we can set these rules up for you. There also comes some packaged rules within DataXchange. And the direct access to these protocols allow for the configurability of these rules and to kind of, use DataXchange to, use what you are looking for in terms of shop floor improvements to be, kind of indicative of what these rules are set as. And as I said, they are 100% based off of these the direct protocol access. Next up, I'm going to go over some use cases. So let's say, for example, you wanted to be alerted when a machine is in an alarm and be notified via email, text, or Microsoft Teams of the alarm and get a description of that alarm as well as its duration. You can also find out things like the load and overrides on a specific spindle, how long and whether or not a machine has been in an M0, M1 pause, what the current cycle status is on a machine, how many good or scrap parts have been produced. And as I said, these rules that you define are endlessly configurable, and that the direct protocols directly enable this. So to get more of an understanding about the value of direct protocol access, it's a good thing to kind of focus on the limitation of some of the standardized protocols that you could use like MT-Connect or OPCUA to retrieve machine information. So standardized protocols do not have the ability to read certain things off of CNC controls and cannot retrieve the in-depth data items like direct protocols can. And the limitations of the retrieved data via these standardized open source protocols is only what is provided by the standards committees, is what they set basically. And another good important kind of tenet of why direct protocol access is a wonderful thing for your machine monitoring experience is support. Standardized protocols are not supported by control suppliers, machine tool builders, basically any third party. And this, leaves end users up to issues concerning bugs and the lack of enhancements that you will not get with Scytec DataXchange. Scytec DataXchange sees regular updates, almost quarterly. The last time that MT-Connect was updated was in July of 2023. And when something goes wrong, with like an adapter or something like that, you have to, call up one of these third parties and, inquire about what's going on with it. When something isn't going the way you want it to with one of these direct protocols, you reach out to Scytec DataXchange and we will fix the problem for you directly. There's no, blame shifting or anything like that. So how else are these direct protocols used by DataXchange? As I mentioned earlier, our integration partners, what was previously CG Tech Vericut is now just Vericut. DataXchange and Vericut have an integration called CNC Machine Connect that offers 3 different modules. We have a couple of different webinars and videos as well on that I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel or our website to find out about. But there's a lot of different data points that can be retrieved via this direct protocol access for this integration, including machine offsets, macro variables, P macro variables, as well as the retrieval of the entire program for comparison. So if you're interested in learning any more about this integration between DataXchange and the digital twin standard Vericut that you guys hopefully have out on your shop floor, please go to our website and look at some of the previous content that we have out there describing the integration for that. So that about wraps it up for the direct protocol side of this webinar. Next, I'm going to be covering for those of you that are current DataXchange customers, the update that is going to be coming out here in a few weeks. So what is in this new update? In this new update, we have a new dark mode feature added. This will follow your active Windows system setting. And I'm going to go over some of this stuff here so you can actually, visually see what I'm talking about, as well as that direct protocol access to Mazaks machines that I discussed earlier. So if you guys have a bunch of Mazaks out on your shop floor, once again, in a few weeks here, we are going to be able to pull a whole litany of information off of them. And you can go to that supported technology webpage and click on the Mazak icon and see all of the different data points that we are going to be able to pull from your shop floor equipment with the Mazak branding on it. As well, in this release, we are going to have some additional support for equipment with Modbus TCP, the equipment summation list, which I'm going to go over here in just a second. This is a new offering inside of our real-time lists section that you can find in the data display launchpad, as well as now there's also a reporting section inside of data display. And there's also quite a few enhancements regarding the user interface for DataXchange, including some new icons in the Launchpad, text descriptors in the data display RTV views, and the ability to do some filtering on the data display launch pad, where you can filter now by charts, reports, and real-time views, whatever you're kind of looking for in there. And for those of you that are unaware, we do have a dxhelp.scytec.com website, which is what we call Scytec University, that will go over everything that is inside of this update, as well as we have a new process for connecting Microsoft Teams to DataXchange, where you can follow a video tutorial for that new process at that dxhelp.scytec.com Scytec University website, which I hope you guys do go there and learn about DataXchange a little bit more. So first off, I'd like to discuss dark mode in this new update. And as I said, this is contingent upon what you have your Windows system settings at. So I did this in Windows 10, but you can go to your default app mode and go from light to dark. And thusly, DataXchange will follow suit. And you can see that on that left-hand image over there, that DataXchange is now in its dark mode. And if you switch back to light and refresh your web browser, DataXchange will go back to light mode. We also now have different layout formatting for your data display launchpad. And if you go, or if you look up there in the top right corner, you will see 3 different little pull downs where you can do some filtering by grouping, the layout, as well as a little text box where you can type in whatever you were looking for. I was looking for an equipment status summary chart, and that I got to equipment and pulled up all the other charts and reports that have the word equipment in them. Finally, next up, we also have our data display reporting inside of data display. And this is a new addition inside of this upcoming release where you can get different reports and then export them in different formats, including PDFs, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft Word. And you can do some different kind of layouts of how you would like that information presented. So what we are looking at here is an equipment status detail report that goes over, a specific time frame of what I was looking for all of the different equipment statuses. And then finally, in kind of some of the heavy user interface stuff that's going to be in this release, we have our equipment summation list, and this can be found with the other real-time lists in your data display launchpad. I got a little arrow there pointing to it. It's at the end. And this works like a lot of the DataXchange charts and reports do, where you do a bunch of filtering, which you can see in that image underneath it, where I have selected a last week worth of time and equipment from our Denver factory, which includes, some Haas machines, a Hardinge, a laser, a DMG Mori. And then you can then, with that image in the top right, you can select the machine data points that you are looking to retrieve from this summation report, including things like unknown downtime, unplanned downtimes, etc. There's a whole list of things that you can select that will then give you a high-level summation of everything in that given time frame that you requested. So I was looking for, how much time has been an unknown downtime and cycle for my machines. And you can see in that image in the right-hand corner that my Haas machine has spent close to 56 hours in unknown downtime. And it has been in cycle for the last week for a little bit over 20 hours. So basically what this equipment summation list is a high-level summary of the data points that you are looking for in terms of a given time frame that you have requested. Once again, if you are unfamiliar, we have our Scytec University website, which can be found at dxhelp.scytec.com. Please go over there and peruse through it if you have any questions or you're looking for some kind of brush ups on all things DataXchange. There's tutorials, there's breakdowns of how different roles in a production environment can utilize DataXchange as well. If you look under the user manual, on the left-hand side there is a tab that says Release Notes. This will go over everything that is coming out here in this upcoming update. So please definitely utilize that website for any help, questions that you may have, and definitely don't ever hesitate to reach out to us directly for any support or DataXchange related questions that you guys may have. We have some upcoming webinars. We do this on a monthly basis over some kind of topic and then covering, what's coming up in any upcoming updates or anything like that. So at the end of March, we have optimizing operations, deployment security, and how DataXchange fits into your environment. And then at the end of April, we are going to have a little motto that we call here, which is called Growing with Your Data, Evolving with Machine Monitoring. At Scytec, we actually advocate that you guys start out with kind of like some of the lower features first on our bronze level. And then once you get DataXchange, up and working and it's integrated into your guys' daily routine and you're using it, then we kind of advocate for you guys to move on to some of the more advanced features that can be found in our silver and gold licensing levels. And I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff that is, involved in those further licensing and how you can utilize data exchange on a day-to-day basis effectively.